Welcome! Welcome to Dialogue, the dialogue on analog music reproduction. In this episode, we're going to take a look at 10 free, costless, zero expense tips and tweaks in order to get the best sound from your hi-fi system. Are you ready, audiophiles? Here we go. Okay guys, we're gonna go now and take a look at these 10 tips. Now, I'm sure for a few of you, some are gonna be trite, evident, banal, that everyone knows. But others maybe not so much. So stay tuned and stay with us to understand what are these main tips. Okay guys, let's go through our 10 tips starting from number 1. Amp impedance. Very simply, if you have an amplifier, integrated, power amplifier, receiver, whatever it is, that has the possibility to attach your speakers with a different types of resistance, with a different types number of ohms, usually 4 or 8, that is the most common, try changing them. Try putting the speaker cables in a different position. Because, first of all, loudspeakers tend to change their impedance, okay? It's not fixed, as you may think. Plus, it is not that precise, it is not sculpted, engraved in marble that you have to have that same spec impedance on the loudspeaker and on the amplifier. For example, I changed the resistance, I changed the impedance, we have to talk of impedance actually, of the amplifier for my Golden Ear Triton reference, which are supposed to be 8 ohms, and I'm sure it's close to that. Nevertheless, I set my Prima Luna to 4 ohms, using the 4 ohm input, actually output. Wowagazawa. Things changed completely. Things opened up. There was obviously less resistance, less impedance, and therefore the loudspeakers were more reactive and I think more dynamic, more fresh. Try it. I mean, it's not going to damage your speakers. Don't worry. Obviously, don't start with heavy metal with all the volume dial at 3/4. Start gradually and you will notice in most cases that things will get better, or even higher that. Maybe you're having a little too harsh sound, hence you're going to try to pass to 8 ohms. You're going to increase the impedance, and maybe that's going to somehow dampen those harsh notes or other issues with your sound. Try. You have to experiment. It's free. Do it. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, number 2. We have discussed about this in several occasions, but I think it's a good thing to mention because we're talking of something, again, free of cost. What am I talking about? But very important. Loudspeaker positioning. Yes, I know you know. A lot of people don't. I have to explain this. Experiment. Again, the key element, the key concept here in this video is to experiment, because not necessarily it's going to improve. But you may find some improvements, so it's worth trying since it doesn't cost you a dime. Just move around your speakers. Try to move them away from the wall. Try to move them close to the wall. Try to position the speaker itself in a different way. I also did a video dedicated to a special configuration. Here's the link. Try and take a look at that. As you will see, this is one of the major improvements and also the major issue you are having. Together with what? Sound in your environment of your room. The sound coming from your room, reflecting from your room. That is fundamental. In fact, on point number 3, I'm suggesting to somehow try to break up the sound wave coming from your system. This is difficult to do it free of cost, okay? I understand that. In fact, I'm not telling you to go and get noise traps or deflectors or things like that. But if you can, Try to move around your furniture. Try to put your books coming from another room all together. Try to draw the curtains when you're listening, perhaps. Try to put things on the wall. Try to put a rug. Try to put a mat. Try to put things that absorb or break up the as I was saying, the sound wave. That is very important. Obviously not too much, but it's going to be hard if you're not doing it professionally. So if you're just using furniture, don't worry. Put stuff in your room and you'll see things will get much better. Okay? I'm waiting for your comments. Let's proceed. Gear heat up. Again, this is probably obvious for a lot of people, but sometimes just try to turn on your gear and wait 15, 20 minutes, and I'm not just talking about tube gear, even solid state, anything. After a while, after a little bit of heat up, it's just gonna sound better and work better. Try it. Why not? Obviously, every time you're listening to music and you're doing that for a certain amount of time, you're already reaching that pinnacle, so who cares? Yeah, true. But maybe sometimes you have a new record. Maybe sometimes you want to do a special A to B test or something. Then take your time, wait those 20 minutes, and then try. Things will be much better. Let's go. Point number 5. Dampen your gear. Oh yes. I know, again, this is not that easy to do it costless. Nevertheless, try. Start out putting blue tack. Start out putting some absorbent material, some sorbutane, some surfaces of cork, pieces of cork, or other materials that can somehow, at least you think, may dampen somehow the vibrations. Yes, that is the key point here of your gear. Obviously, the turntable, that deserves a lot of attention, but not only. A lot of people think I'm crazy. I think it does have an effect. Try also on the other pieces of gear. Obviously, your CD player, your amplifier, also your speakers, those need a lot of attention. I think at a certain point you should invest there a little bit of money. In any case, if you're a newbie, you're just starting out with this passion, just try a little bit of blue tack. That doesn't cost that much, just $1 or $2, and try putting it beneath some components. Things will change. Trust me. Let's proceed. Point number 6, clean power. No, I'm not talking about power filtering. That obviously has a cost. And I would say also a high cost in terms of quality, if you want high quality. No, I'm talking about more of pollution. If you think, and again, try to experiment, you have lamps, televisions, old televisions, radios, telephones, other electronic components near or on the same line that of your hi-fi. Try unplugging them. Try turning them off because they can pollute, unfortunately, and in the worst cases create some strong hums in the sound. Oh boy. I mean, I used to remember I had a light over there far, but it was on the same line. When I turned it on, the whole thing started to buzz. So you never know. Obviously, the television is one of the worst things, along with your cell phone, but you know that. So experiment and see if things get better, okay? Let's proceed. Point number 7, air movement. Now, this maybe is a little less common, but it is important. Try to refrain from using ventilators and air conditioning in general, because if the air is moving, there are some studies, there are some articles on this. I'll link one, for example, here in the video description, where air movement will influence specific frequencies, mainly in larger environments, but even in your small environments. I mean, a strong ventilator on the roof, or even just one sitting around, or air conditioning with a lot of air moving, obviously is going to influence sound, because sound travels on air. And if there's something going around moving, obviously the sound is going to change and obviously worsen. Certainly is not going to get better. So just remember this, especially if you're living in a warm environment all year through. You should change the solutions somehow to refrigerate your environment, your room, or perhaps do it before you want to listen. A critical listen. Obviously, if you're just listening to music, doing something else, who cares? But if you want to really enjoy that piece of music, that album you just got, that wonderful piece of vinyl, high quality, turn off that. I find myself in the middle of the summer turning everything off, starting to sweat, but I'm happy inside because I have top quality while listening to music. Okay, guys, try. It's costless. Let's proceed. Point number 8. Now, don't kill me, please. Cable movement. No, okay. No raw tomatoes, no shoes in the face or eggs. I'm sorry, guys, but yes. Especially, I would say, speaker cables. If you move them, it'll take, I don't know why. Please don't ask me why, because I don't know why, but I hear it clearly. If you move your speaker cables, it's gonna take 1-2 days of good listening, not just everything turned off, but with the music going up and down, the power going up and down. Then it'll turn back in its original output performance. But if you move cables, again, especially the speaker cables, oh my, it just gets worse. It's terrible. Try moving them and listen, and you will see. We're not talking night and day differences, obviously, but there are differences. Clear. I think they're very clear. Try. Point number 9, gear burn-in. Now, I did a dedicated video. Here's a link on burning in gear. There's also a special file I put and download in that video, so you can download it, and it's my special recipe to burn in gear, like headphones, speakers, mainly those. But it's not only that. Why this is so important? Not only because you can enjoy better your gear, and it does take a lot of time. Like, for example, who knows my videos? Who knows me? I am considerably changing my point of view on my Hollow Audio DAC May. It's getting much better. The nuances, I knew it. I also knew it. And I also knew it was going to take months. Okay, don't think I'm crazy. It's not always like that. In some cases, it takes a few hours or a few days of listening sessions, of listening music. But in other cases, as I already told in other videos, for example, my Apple, it took months. Then, within a few days, I don't know why, magic. Things change a whole hell a lot. Trust me, guys. So, even if you're evaluating something, don't send it back immediately. Perhaps keep it on all night, maybe. That's something that can speed up the process. And then you'll have a more clear and true, honest opinion. You can make your own honest opinion on something after a good number of hours on its back, because otherwise it's just gonna sound harsh, especially earphones, headphones, and speakers. Oh boy. Let's proceed. Okay, my last point, which actually is more like an indication for all the other ones. Don't multi-tweak, especially in this video. What do I mean? Do one thing at a time. Don't move your speakers and put something on the walls, put a carpet, change put down dampening things. No, do one thing at a time so you can understand what is changing and what you're introducing, because sometimes you may introduce negative effects. And if you did 2 or 3 things, you're going to need a lot of time to understand what went wrong in that process and what synergy also went wrong, or what synergy is good. But you have to go by little steps. Only that way you can understand what is happening and keep control of your system. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave your own tips, suggestions, and tweaks, free of cost, obviously. I'm very interested. Thank you for watching, and remember, music is born analog. Well, guys, if you're enjoying my videos and you're enjoying my channel, please consider to subscribe by clicking the black and white logo here below. Also, don't forget to click the notification bell so you'll never miss an episode and you will become a true member of the analog community.